Hey there, good morning. I think that we are live right now. Not exactly sure. If anybody is out there and tuning in, go ahead and stick a comment in the comments box, and then I will know you there because if you've ever done Facebook Live, you will know that there's no way to know if anybody's out there and if you need to respond to anyone's questions. As we go along, if you do have questions, please type them in the comments box. And once I'm done with uh, little sections, I'll check the comments box and we can address any comments or questions that you have. I want this to be really interactive. So today's talk, I guess, is about homeschool planning and goal setting. Hey, Tracy's there. Hi, Tracy. Good morning. It's good to see that you're here. So it's about planning and goal setting in your homeschool, and this is one of probably the most frequent questions that we hear. What does your day look like? How do you plan it? How do you keep up with all those things? For those who may not know me, I'm Doreen Browning. I'm a veteran homeschool a mom and homeschooled both of my kids from K through 12. They're both now in graduate school, so it does work, and you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Um, and so now I'm a homeschooling consultant. And one of the reasons that I'm doing this is because you matter and your kids matter and their learning matters. And so I'm only doing about 20 minutes total today because I think I'm finding, maybe you are too, I'm finding that in this stressful time, I guess, it's hard to concentrate on anything for very long periods of time. So I'm just going to try and do this in snippets. And today we'll talk about planning and goal setting. So, what we're going to cover are things like using a planner, setting goals for your day, structuring your day, and then reviewing your day because reviewing is really important. So, starting right out, um, using a planner. Are you a planning person? Are you the kind of person that likes a planner? If you're the kind of person that likes a planner, then I would really encourage you to get a planner that's going to work for you. If you're not a person who uses a planner, and some of us aren't, don't feel that you have to. You can do your planning in your own way. You can be more. Um, Tracy's tired of blaming things. You can be um, have it in your head. You can just kind of set loose goals for the day if you want to. But if you are a planner and you want to plan some things, there are a couple different ways that you can do it. Number one is you can use your calendar to do a planner. You could use a digital version of a calendar, or you could use a hard copy version of a calendar. If you're familiar with the days before everything being digital, you know that there were these day planner and day timer kind of books, and they were like that thick for a year. And they had project section tabs, they had task tabs, they had to do today, you'd cross it off. So there are ways that you can structure your planning for your homeschool. And you can use your calendar to do that. Or you can use one of those printed books. You can also use Google Tasks if you are more digitally oriented. Google has a task manager. If you use Outlook for your calendar, that has a task manager. You can create the tasks, you can set when they're due. So if you're a digital person, the nice thing about uh, using Google for that or even using Outlook is that if it's on your phone and you always have your phone, then it's really easy. You're not writing down little snippets of paper, you're not carrying around a booklet for yourself. You could use some of those things. You could also use, and here we go, this is like my prop here. You could use a spiral bound notebook. And you can buy at the office supply store. This is kind of low cost, low tech. Buy at the office supply store little tabs that you can paste in there if you're a tabbing kind of person. You may want to have a section for every day. You may want to have a section for subjects. You may want to keep this planning for your homeschool kind of separate from your overall planning um, for like doctor's appointments, dentist visits, other kinds of things and appointments that you have to attend to. I always found that problematic because I would miss something. I would miss um, an event There was one time I showed up 24 hours late to the event. I'm like, where is it? And my kids are like, Mom, that was yesterday. Okay, sorry. So it's really up to you how you're going to keep track of these things. You need to find something that is going to work for you. The other thing that you can do is use a curriculum plan. A lot of the packaged curricula will come with a teacher's plan or a daily lesson plan that you can use. You can use that, but don't be tied to it. If your day is not going well and you can't get all those things done, that's okay too. Um, so just be aware that those are some of the ways that you can plan, and everybody is going to have a different take on how they plan best. One of the other comments that I've heard in our New to Homeschooling North Carolina group is to make a note of maybe wins on your planner. If you use a daily planner, make a little section at the bottom or in the side margin, or another way to do it so that you can go back and look at those wins. What went really well today. Good morning, Amanda. I see that you've tuned in. Welcome. So we've covered kind of using a planner. Let's talk about setting some goals for your day. There are a lot of ways that you can set goals, but one of the things that we find when we're homeschooling is that we're not just setting um, goals for activities for the day, like our appointments and our meal plans and our bedtimes and getting up times. We're also setting plans for the education times. So we've got this whole new area that we're planning. We're trying to incorporate all of this into one single thing, one single overall plan. So there are a lot of different ideas for how to set goals for your day. I want to encourage you to not be too grandiose. I tend to be very grandiose. I tend to set big goals and then I go, "Oh man, I didn't get my stuff done today. I don't feel good about my day." One of my favorite ideas for setting goals that I've learned recently is called the 1-3-5 method. And what you do essentially is you set a goal for one big task for today. What is the most important thing that I have to get done today? And maybe it's keeping an appointment. Maybe it's that we really have to get this work on math done. One big thing that whatever else you do today, that's what has to get done. Set that goal first. Then set 3 medium goals. These are, I'd really like to get to this today. It would really help us out if we can get to this today. But you know what? If everything breaks loose and we can't get to that today, we're going to postpone that till tomorrow. And you might find that some of these tasks move up in priority as time goes by because you can't let things go forever. And then set 5 smaller tasks. These might be little things like today we are going to clean out that closet. Um, those things can get set aside if they have to, but that way you've got some very simple ways to look at your day and say, yes, we accomplished our big tasks. Now, depending on what you've got going, you may set one big task for each child. You may set one big task for you. It doesn't have to be, this is the family, we get one task today. You can set these for each individual student. You can set them for your whole family. You can set them for yourself. Um, if that kind of thing works for you, then that gives you a way to structure your day. But one of the most important pieces of that is that you acknowledge what your priorities are for the day. I think a lot of us spend time doing things that are not necessarily our priorities, and we might call them time wasters. Now, I'm not a fan of structuring my day rigidly so that I have to do absolutely everything. Every minute has to be productive. But set the priorities. I'm going to hold up my little other prop here. I got this from a conference. I hope this shows up and isn't backwards, but it says life is short. Do what matters. So set your priorities. And if that is really something that's important for the day, then make sure that you are going to make time to get that done and not let time slip away from you, because it's so easy to let our time slip away, especially when we're managing so many big things. Another thing that's important to do as we're setting goals is acknowledge the time that the work takes. And I don't know about you, but I always underestimate how much time it's going to take me to do something. So I am going to make this plan. It's going to take me 30 minutes to make this plan. And an hour later, I'm still not done with the plan. Well, why does that happen? Well, maybe we get interrupted because we are moms, we're at home, we have kids, the phone rings. So acknowledge the time that it's going to take you to do a task, and don't try not to. I'm not going to say don't do that, because then we just end up kind of berating ourselves for doing that. But try to be generous with yourself and say, yes, it's going to take me more time than I anticipate to do this one thing. And be kind to yourself as you do that. Be kind to your kids as you do that too. And also consider that when you assign your kids something, they may or may not have the attention span to do it the way that you would like to see it done. So if you're assigning them to work on reading something, if they get 15 minutes into it and they're ready to get up and move, maybe let them get up and move around. Have them take that little break. Don't require them to sit still. Maybe they can lean over upside down on the couch and read that book. It doesn't have to be sitting somewhere. Maybe you can get an exercise ball and do the bouncy ball thing that lets them move a little bit as they read. But acknowledge that your kids may actually complete the work faster than what you think they're going to do, even or the task, because we kind of think, oh, it's going to take them forever, and then it doesn't. Structuring your day. Okay. To structure your day, you have to meet the needs of your family. You've got all these things going on, and it's not just your day. You know, if we went off into the work world, we would structure our day based on our job, based on what we knew we had to do. But now we've got all of these competing priorities coming in at us, and we have to figure out how we're going to structure our day. So one of the top tips that I can share, and you may already be doing this, is involve your kids in the work that has to be done that's on your to-do list. And that oftentimes includes things like laundry, preparing meals, even cleaning. And those are family things. I'm not saying that those are mom things. Those are family things. It's kind of the work of the household, I guess. Keeping things up and keeping things running. Maybe you have a pet to feed. Involve your kids as much as possible. And when I'm talking about possible, I'm talking about as in physically capable of doing, right? They may not want to do it, but we're suddenly finding ourselves all together now here in the house, and we have to figure out how to make this work. So, as much as physically possible and is safe, involve them in doing things. Now, what can kids do? Kids can fold laundry. And when you get to involving them in your tasks, be aware that they're not going to do it as well as you do at first, but they will get better. And encourage them as they do get better. Show them how to do it. Don't expect perfection right off the start. And maybe expect a mess if you're having them start helping with their own meals. Maybe you're having them prepare lunch for you. Maybe you're having them uh, prepare lunch for siblings. Maybe they are helping with other things like making a to-do list. If you have older kids, um, you can involve them certainly in the planning. You can involve them in, if you wanted to, you could even involve them in bill paying and talking about financing and managing those parts of the household. So it depends on what your kids are capable of, what their ages are, and how much you can get them involved. But make your day, the structure of your day, meet the needs of your family. The other piece that we tend to do is we tend to bring over our schedule from public school, and we feel like learning has to happen at this set time of day, from in these hours, in this time frame, and it's not true. Learning can happen all throughout the day. Learning can happen at different times during the day. We see this a lot with parents who are working. If you've got a job that you're either working outside the house or you're working from home, then you're probably going to have to structure your day differently than the mom who is not working outside the home and can just focus on those family things all day. Or the dad, sorry, didn't mean to do that. On the parent, let's put the parent. So make it work for you. When mine were little, like kindergarten, those little feet hit the floor at 6 a.m. every morning, no matter what I did. I could try keeping them up later and it didn't matter. So what I would do is I would get up at 4:30 in the morning to set aside time for me to plan and structure my day and give me just a little time to read the daily news and figure out how it was going to go, make sure I wasn't missing anything. That's me. I tend to be an early riser and my brain kind of shuts off about 8:30 at night. So whatever works for you. Your kids don't have to be in bed by 8 o'clock if it's not working for your family. Maybe they're reading books with one of the parents or even each other. Maybe they're staying up late with a flashlight under their pillow or under their blankets reading at night. You're on homeschooling time. And as long as it works for your family, it's a good thing. You can go ahead and be flexible with your day. The last thing I want to cover is reviewing your day. We've covered using a planner just a little bit, and I'm not going into any details about what planner's best, about setting goals for your day, some strategies for doing that, structuring your day. Let's talk about reviewing your day. One of the sayings that I have heard recently from someone named Danny Inney that I just love is that failure isn't failure unless it's the last chapter in the book. Anything before that last chapter is just a plot twist. I love that saying because it speaks to the iterative nature of life and of working through things. So I want to encourage you to review your day. And the first thing I want you to think about when you review your day is what was a win today? It can be a teeny tiny win today. We all got dressed. We all had breakfast. It can be a teeny tiny win, but make sure that you acknowledge the wins because you want to be positive about this. You're also going to look at what didn't go so well, but you're not going to look at it as a failure. Look at it as an iterative process that, okay, well, we can tweak that here. We can do something different. We can do a little bit better. So take a moment after every day of homeschooling and just look for the successes, look for the opportunities to make a little different approach to it, and then look for the things that maybe you don't want to do anymore. And as you look through all of it, remember not to be ruled by your curriculum choices. All right. Public school students never get through the entire curriculum in a year. You don't have to either. You can skip ahead, you can go back, you can jump all around. You don't have to follow a set program of study just because you purchased a curriculum. So I want you to feel some freedom and flexibility. Okay, that's it. That's all I've got. So we have a few minutes left. Does anybody have a question? Let's see. Oh, Tracy likes those huge desk planners. Amanda says she uses a teacher planner and it works great. Word and Excel to create the attendance documents. That's awesome. Amanda likes to plan monthly, but also break it down weekly. That's a really good suggestion. Um, so when you guys plan, I wish this was a Zoom call instead of a Facebook Live, but when you plan, are you planning just for your homeschooling or are you planning for everything, family life, as well as your homeschooling? And do you keep that all on a big calendar? I used to love those big desk calendars too. So if you have a comment about how you do that, I would love to hear it. Any other questions about what your day might look like? I know folks tend to get really, they want to know, what does a homeschooler's day look like? I'll just share a bit of what my homeschooling days would look like. My homeschooling days were very unstructured when our students were younger. And I don't want to say unstructured in terms of we didn't ever have a plan. We always had a plan. And the plan, but it looked unstructured, it felt unstructured. The plan was typically to get outside or to go somewhere or to do something. And we did a lot of a lot of hands-on things. We would go and play a lot in parks, did a lot of nature study and exploration, and that can easily take up most of a day. But we also did a lot of hands-on activities at home, such as, well, you might call it crafts, but I didn't so much. It was creating with things like model magic, drawing, and believe me, my kids are not artists, um, and neither am I. So it was just more of interpreting and talking. Jana asked, how many hours a day do you do direct teaching? Besides reading math books, review, etc. I did very little direct teaching. My philosophy about that is that um, you're kind of the guide alongside. So I followed my students' interests whenever possible. I didn't purchase curriculum except for when they were young. I purchased something called Explode the Code. And I did that to provide some opportunities for reading short things and answering questions about them. That was maybe 30 minutes of a day. We also used a program that that's called Easy Grammar, and that was done within 10 minutes a day. Now, we didn't do that every day. We did that in spurts. If they wanted to work ahead, they worked ahead. What did we do for math? Math was very much done in life until we got to division, and then division was a little bit harder. Uh, once we once we got to double digit division, that was harder yet. And so then I turned to a math program that was very game oriented. I don't know if it still is, but it was teaching textbooks for like third grade. And it was computer oriented, very game oriented, a lot of reinforcements, and it was fun. They enjoyed doing that. So that was what we did. And they were free to do that when they wanted to do that. I didn't spend a whole lot of time in direct teaching. Now, when they got older, I still didn't spend a lot of time in direct teaching. We spent a lot of time in discussion. We spent a lot of time discussing books that we were reading. We read books together into sixth and seventh grade. I would read to them. We would discuss plots and plot elements and character development. We did a lot of discussion throughout the day as we went around on our basic activities. So Jana, your kids are in third grade now. Yeah, I when my kids were in third grade, we were still, well, the library, I don't know what the library is doing now, but we were going to the library and they were checking out as many books as they wanted. And we would bring them home. I even took a rolling suitcase. That's how many books we'd check out for two kids. And we kept them in the suitcase, thank goodness, or we would have lost them. But they could check out anything they wanted and read through anything they wanted. And they were also free to not read through them. If they got it home and looked at it and went, that really isn't as good as I thought, then I would just leave it back in the rolling suitcase and we'd return it to the library. So when you're starting to homeschool, one of the big things that we tend to do is try to port over the daily routine of schooling, and that's just not even necessary. Kids learn so much faster. And what I would encourage you to do if you're just starting homeschooling, brand new, set really small goals, spend a little bit of time each day and find out how it goes, because your kids are also they're going to want success. They're going to need success, and you're going to need success too as a parent. So do small things that you can easily accomplish. And if they're successful, hooray! Do something more again like that a little bit longer. But test the waters and see, I guess, how deep the pool is. How much can you get done? How much do they want to get done? Because that is a factor. If you're standing over your kids demanding that they get it done and it's not working, then it's not working for anybody. So you have to take a step back and figure out how you're going to approach that differently. Um, so I think that's probably all we have about planning. Let's see what else we've got. planning and structuring your day. I hope that that was helpful. I'm going to wrap it up for now because we've gone 5 minutes over what I thought we'd go. And if you have any comments, you can go ahead and leave them in the video. If it was helpful, if you want to see something else talked about, let me know. You can comment on my page. I'm happy to talk about it. And that's it. Thank you, everybody, for showing up today and spending your time. I appreciate it.